Hello, YouTube, Internet, Google Hangouts, for as long as you're still here. Hopefully, you won't join that big Google graveyard in the sky. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet. It's a community on the internet that plays a lot of really cool story games, indie games, role playing games. There's a link below where you can find out all they do: podcasts, blogs, zine, and the Hangouts calendar to which this game was arranged. We are playing Masks: A New Generation. We're continuing this what I guess world building universe that I've been doing throughout the Gauntlet. Basically the theme was we're running through all these play sets that Masks has. But for those who don't know, Masks: A New Generation is a power-based apocalypse game about teenage superheroes figuring out who they are because you're at that stage of life where you don't know who you are through the medium of punching people who probably deserve to be punched. For this series, we are using the Apocalypse Sonata playset, which is basically, in comic book terms, you know how if you read comics like Marvel, DC, and there's the big stupid crossover event in the middle of the summer that gets in the way of your comic book storylines and swallows up the entire summer. The big stupid cosmic crossover event. This is this playset. We are gonna go into a big, wild road trip adventure through the stars and beyond. Jack Kirby style, basically. That's kind of the pitch for this playset. Before we get into all that, let's kind of meet our players first so we all get to know each other. As mentioned, my name is, as not mentioned, I'm not mentioned, my name is Leandro. I'm your host and GM. I use he, him pronouns, and I'll call on each player to state your name, pronouns. If you want to shout out something cool on the internet, do so. If not, it's perfectly fine. At your discretion. I'm gonna call you out by the wow I see in the screen. So let's start with Alan, who's not a stranger to this series, to this I guess YouTube channel or whatever. Alan, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is turning into a Gauntlet Quarterly and more than that. So my name's Alan, and I've been playing with the Gauntlet for, I guess, gosh, the thick end of 6 months now. And coolest thing on the internet, I found out today that I get a shout out in a Gauntlet podcast. Can't wait for that issue. I think they got the wrong guy.
I don't know. I've played enough with Mr. Allen there, and it sounds like they couldn't get the more right guy. Up next, Jesse, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Jesse, he, him, and been playing with the Gauntlet for a couple of years now. Played Masks a few times, and just kind of looking forward to a much different setting that I'm used to in this system. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Fab. All right. Glad to have you on, Jesse. Hope you have a good time. Up next, Kevin, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Kevin. Pronouns he, him. I've been playing with the Gauntlet about 6 months, 5 or 6 months, something like that. I've run Masks a lot, but not played it very much. So this will be a switch for me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're kind of in the same boat. I've run Masks more than I've played it, and there's a point where it's just like, you see everyone having fun playing it, you might as well give it a shot. Last but not least, Pablo, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Pablo. I've been playing with Gauntlet for a while now. I'm completely new to the Masks, but it's good to see that I'm in some veteran pro territory, and I have some good support. Yeah, I really look forward to our superhero, not Avengers type of story.
No, we're doing Young Avengers. That's what we're doing, because these are teenagers and whatnot. Young Avengers is like a inspiration for this series, for this game. Check that out. Before we get into more of that, let's talk about safety tools first, because we try to make sure that we're playing in a safe and comfortable environment, that people are having fun, and so we have safety tools to try and make sure to keep that atmosphere. First and foremost, we have lines and veils, where lines are things in fiction that we're not going to cross. It's not going to show up at all. People put anything in those, if whatever line is there, it's not going to show up in fiction at all. It's like completely off the question, off the table. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, like, you know, they still happen, but we're not going to concentrate on that. We're, you know, as I say, we throw a veil over it and like just concentrate, and you know, it can happen, but we're not going to train a camera on it. To remind our players, our lines and veils are on a tab in the character keeper, and we also use the X card here. Basically, if anything shows up in the fiction where, you know, it's made you feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, and you just throw up an X on the camera or on the chat or on our roller room. There's a button there for the X card. And basically, if that gets thrown up, I might ask specific questions on what exactly is being X, but no one gets to question if it's used. If it's used, people just will respect that, and we will roll back and figure out a different figure out a different avenue of tackling whatever scene we're in. And finally, we have an open door policy here, which basically for yourselves and for myself, if there's at any point you need a break or you need to step away from the table, whether for like 5 minutes or there's an emergency that you can't avoid, or, you know, turns out you're more tired than you thought, that can be called upon at any time while we're playing, and we will try to accommodate. Like as I said, accommodating your like health and, you know, your safety is the most important part. So okay, so now all that's said and done, let's talk about these characters. Like I said, we're playing using the Apocalypse Sonata playset, which is found on the Masks Unbound supplement. These playsets, we've run through all of them. This is the second to last playset I think we've run. And like I said, this is all about a cosmic adventure. You're gonna go up against a great big bad of evil who wants to control the universe. It's that broad. It's that comic booky. This is kind of like the most comic booky of all the playsets, because all the other playsets are kind of like superhero school, ground level defenders-esque vigilanteism, invasion by fascist bird aliens, working for the government. Those are the kind of the other playsets, you know, and not all of them are sexy, clearly. But this one is kind of like the most wild and wacky, because you're going to go on a road trip throughout the stars to, well, what you're actually going to do, we're going to set that up in the opening scene. So we kind of went through character creation off screen, so now it's time to just introduce characters. And to do that, I'll ask, we'll go through the order of the character keeper from left to right. And I'll ask, like, give me like kind of like the elevator pitch on the characters, and I'll ask your backstory questions. Sorry. So recovering from a bit of a cough I picked up 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so we'll go through that. And then once everyone's been introduced, we'll do relationships and then influence and then take a break. And then we're going to get into, hopefully you have time to get into the big opening scene. So, okay, character keeper. Where are you? Hello, Tabs. There's a lot of you. Why is there a lot of you? Oh, God, Pinterest, you're always open, aren't you? Anyway, let's start with our outsider. Pavel, tell us about Cash the Leaks, otherwise known to these Earthlings as Solara.
Yes, so aesthetically, I went for like a Sari themed character, for those of you who know Mass Effect. Cash the Leaks is from a race that is like monogender. Their body is quite female looking, but they have no reproduction organs. They just like they do like telepathic connection to their partner, and I mean like literally. They are outsider. They are not from Earth. I wrote into my backstory that they come to Earth through space and time anomaly. I suppose something wacky happened with my spaceship after I put some crazy fuel that wasn't appropriate into the engine, and then boom, I landed here. But it's a cool place, but we will get there. So Solara is, I put somewhere the look here. They have like a human body, glowing eyes, which kind of reflects their power, which is like heliokinesis and telepathic and also mind blast. They wear flashy clothing, and and also kind of like a representative of their people's uniform. Solara, what else to mention over here? My backstory, I come from a planet called Zanov, which is probably somewhere far away, but who knows, maybe we will accidentally get there. I don't know. Yeah, I think important thing might be to mention that Solara owns a space cruiser Trident. We haven't yet decided how big it is, but yeah, it's a ship that can change size. So I'm totally going into the kind of like an Ant-Man direction, where we can like squeeze into tiny ship or enlarge into like a very big one. So it will be interesting to play around. What are other my cool backstory questions? I stayed on Earth because humans are interesting and in need of heroes like me. Apparently, they don't have enough of heroes. But my people want me back because mom and dad miss me. And I do care about the team because they are interesting individuals and they are having such a short life. I do imagine that Solara is like 60 years old, but for her race, it's like almost like a teenager still. They like mature at around 100 or 150, and it's like so crazy for her that those like race of people that they just like die at the age of 60, and she's like the age of the grandma, and it's like so interesting race. Like, what do they do with their time? So yeah, she stayed and she's trying to learn more about it.
It's funny you mentioned like there are not many heroes, because this all these Masks games been run from not from the default city of Halcyon City, but it's a crappier, more shabby cousin down south, Prospect City, which has a total of 6 adult superheroes apparently, and a lot of teenage superheroes, judging from all these Masks games. A few questions specifically about Zanov. What's Zanov's like stature compared to like the rest of alien life, I guess, like or at least compared to Earth? Like, what's it like there compared to to here?
I think it's a place of a very advanced but very hidden technology. Like, they still have buildings, and it's very hard to say like that they are like super advanced at the first glance, but they really are. And also because the lifespan of my species is so long, people do a lot of crazy things, and sometimes that they decide that next 100 of years I'm going to be like a rebel or a bandit, and it's like very crazy, changing from very often. And yeah, I think it's a heart of a small empire. Maybe just like a couple of planets for all those crazy people to go haywhack and destroy and build some stuff. But yeah, there are also some people who just like paint and then do other very lengthy exercises. So that's what I'm thinking. Quite advanced but stylish, and yeah, and sometimes doing crazy stuff, because when you are 600 years old, you had like multiple children's, you need some adrenaline. So you go, I don't know, I'm going to be a pirate and I'm going to rob some ships because, hey, adrenaline.
No, that makes sense. So these parents, one of your questions I think we got to do is here, why do your people want you to come home? So does that mean your parents have had contact with you?
I don't have moves that allow me to contact my home world, but I imagine that we are in like a phone contact. I like call home, or they like call me. But yeah, I think that they kind of like know where I am. But I told them that, hey, I'm staying here, and they just like, okay, but like don't stay long, which is for them like don't stay more than 20 years or something. So, but yeah, they just like miss me. So
that makes sense.
Maybe over time I will get the moves to contact home, and then we will see like more of a contact with a home. For now,
yeah.
I think Solara wants to like see how they work on their own.
All right, interesting.
Going
We'll see how we'll see how they get along with everyone else. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I have for the moment. Yeah, the rest is probably play to find out. Interesting stuff about Zanov. Yeah, let's move on to our next character, which is well, Jesse, tell us about our Nova for this series.
Okay, yeah, so playing a Nova. Real name is Joseph. Hero name is Graviton, which I think Joseph made up just because someone was like, well, you have to have a hero name. And I think I picked something super on the nose and crappy because I don't want to go by it as much as possible. So let's see, Joseph is really, let's see, I'll just go with physical description first. So slight build, around 5'5", something like that. Medium brown skin. I'm kind of interested in being relatively, like his heritage being not obvious, if that makes sense, kind of, very difficult to kind of, place, where his heritage may lie. I think he's, and I think he's cool with that. Doesn't, not actively searching out, birth parents or anything like that, especially not in a space adventure. I think that could be interesting if he ends up playing in a future series to kind of explore where he comes from. But yeah, he wears no costume and casual clothing, baggy jeans, baggy hoodie, often just keeps the hoodie up. And his powers are gravity manipulation. I have a feeling, and I guess in the questions I answered about him, I feel like this is something that he came to in a very, very early stage of his life, like infant type time. I'm imagining like, kind of an origin story scene of like, laying in a cradle and there's like, one of those mobiles, spinning up above, little toys just kind of, and little kid arm just reaching up towards it. And, kind of a gravity, basically gravity manipulation pulls it down towards him. And then, of course, the camera pans out and you realize both parents were in the room and they're kind of collapsed on the floor, banged up and stuff like that. I imagine they didn't like, no broken bones or anything like that, but enough to where they're like, okay, this is scary. And they probably contacted Aegis at a very young age. I have to imagine it was kind of one of those things. They're like, help us figure out how to handle this kid kind of thing. So I've had probably an Aegis handler for most of my life. Her name's Mary, has just kind of helped me figure out how to not hurt people and stuff. One of the questions I have is why do you continue to use your powers? I think they're kind of like breathing. I have to imagine he's relatively, I said a slight build. I mean, little to no muscle definition in any way, like not a buff Nova at all. I mean, when you figure, somebody with gravity manipulation has probably been using that to help him pick up anything he's ever going to pick up in his entire life. And, walking is kind of a trivial thing because if gravity doesn't apply to you in the same way as it does to others, you can play with that. So I imagine it's just kind of like breathing. I don't know if he could stop using them if he wanted to. I think it's just part of how he interacts with the world. And as far as why do I care about the team, I think at this point, it's like the team's the only place I don't feel like a freak, like that I can be that. I don't have to hide the fact that I'm manipulating gravity every moment, changing the way that gravity affects me or things that I'm interacting with or whatnot. So yeah, I think that's where I come across there. Any questions for me?
Yeah, I've got a few. So first and foremost, I was asking if it's not Mary Smith because I would say this just goes to show how long I've been running this. You're kind of like the fourth player character to have had a female Aegis handler, and you know what? I'm gonna make sure they all know each other. They're probably comparing notes. Also, I'll say like you mentioned, if we pop up in the future, definitely we all end up again on a mask game I'm running. Chances are it's gonna be in the same world. So
nice.
That's how Alan's characters picked up all this ridiculous nonsense because he's playing for all. Like, if we ever end up again, definitely we can explore like your parents or whatnot because you've kind of been living with Aegis all this time. You've never thought to contact your parents, so no? Or
I think so. My adopted, I have to imagine I kind of actually live mostly at home, like with my adopted parents. I imagine it's kind of been like probably an intense period while I was young where I had to be in there just to be safe. But once they realized, okay, you can actually interact with other people, I mostly hang out with live with my parents, go to school, but like, weekly or more frequently meetings with my handler for either training or for just checkups to see how things are going. So I imagine I have kind of both of those things happening in life.
Okay. So how'd you get into
And
being
I
a
think-
superhero then?
Yeah, I think it was just a natural progression from working with Aegis and having a handler. I think it was seen as a constructive, outlet for my powers, and so I think I just kind of like fell into it. But I don't think I resisted getting into it, but I resisted a lot of the things around it. Like I mentioned, the my hero name. I picked something crappy that's just, like what my powers are, because I don't want to ever go by it. I don't wear, I can imagine Mary or people at Aegis trying to get me, hey, you need to wear a costume when you're in the field. And I'm like, heck no, I'm wearing my baggy jeans, I'm wearing my baggy sweatshirt, and that's what, my powers are who I am. It's not a facade I put on, So I think it's an identity issue for Joseph, being like, no, this is just who I am. Like, I don't need to put on special clothes. I don't need a special name. So,
has Aegis ever intimated that maybe you should or have they ever intimated that kind of pushing into superheroing is like, maybe you should work for us in the future? Have they ever intimated?
sorry, my internet kind of broke up on it. I couldn't hear what you said there. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was just asking, so if Aegis got you into superheroing to kind of give you an outlet, have they ever intimated that maybe there's a future for you with them? As in,
I think they have. I think that Mary has brought that up, and I think generally Joseph is cool with Mary, but I think it's kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I don't think he's really considering that. Yeah, I think he's happier being out, maybe in a team elsewhere, not part of a big organization like that. So there could be pressure, but I don't think he's gung-ho about it.
Okay. All right, cool. I think that's all the questions I have for now. Again, get to know relationships afterwards, but yeah, it's all interesting stuff. Not sure how much of it. Well, we'll see. Yeah, let's move on to our next character. Kevin, tell us about our Harbinger.
All right. My character is Paradox 3. Change that up to, I think the name is appropriate. So Paradox 3. I have that as the hero name, and real name I just put a question mark. I have some ideas that I'm going to have a lot of holes in my memory, and that's one thing I don't remember what my actual name is. So I come from the future, and I'm here to prevent something bad from happening. Let's see. So powers, I've got with futuristic gadgets and implants. So basically, I sort of look like a Borg. He's of average height and has all these things plugged in all over the place. So I guess that's kind of a costume. I mean, he certainly stands out. Another interesting thing about him is he's completely made up of grayscale, just all black and white. No, not a bit of color on him. And let's see, backstory. How did you travel from the future to the present day? I put here my implanted dimension shifting generator allows me to travel in time. And what keeps me from returning to the future, the tech that I used to travel here, is based on the power of the gray sun, which is not present in this timeline yet. So now I can no longer use that for the time being. So why are your memories and knowledge of the future scrambled? As I act in this timeline, it alters the future, and therefore my memories of it. So every time I do any action I take, my memories are changing. Very confusing. What is the most important part of your future that you want to avert? I say the singularity which propels humankind into a monochrome universe. And why must you join this team specifically to achieve your mission's goals? This team failed to prevent the singularity, and I'm here to make sure that they succeed this time.
Ooh, we'll probably get into relationships later, how you know this particular group. But do you know how long you've been here in the present?
I I would like if it wasn't for too very long. Yeah, I mean, it could have been like a week or two, like really not very long.
Ooh, okay, that makes things clearer then in terms of like how you get involved in this then. So I'm assuming then that, yeah.
I mean, if it works better to have me here longer, that's fine too. But
No. I think, yeah, we'll go with what you said, because I like the idea of like, yeah, you just came here. You just here recently enough that, you know, you're still kind of like not single-minded, but like, you know, you got a goal, you got to get it done. That's interesting. Do you remember much of who sent you?
Well, I think I wasn't sent. I'm going to go with that. This was an idea of my own. We maybe in the future had access to history books and things, or like the idea of a universe or a world where there's color is just beyond anyone's ability to imagine. So it was my goal, since this was rumored that they had color back then, so to get back here and see that and try to fix it so that stays. So I altered my tech in some way to use it to travel back in time. That's not something that everybody could do in our era or where I'm from. So that I did this on my own.
So what was it like seeing color?
Oh yeah, that's going to be. He's tripping all the time. Just like it's everything. He gets thrown off by the minorest little things. Like just color is fascinating to him, and he's still in that discovery phase where he's just blown away by everything.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's kind of most of what I want to know. The thing is, because you're so kind of like new to the present day, there's still quite a lot to discover, and part of the discovering like how your future, there is a move for discovering versions of people, how it exists in the future. I'll be sure to remember to, like, if you ever like want to know, including the PCs as well, there's a move for that. I'll make sure.
Yeah. And I took the powers like that had mostly sort of to do with piercing the mask and assessing the situation. So I'm gathering like all these implants and stuff have more to do with like scanning, and maybe there's like databases and stuff in there. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thanks very much, Kevin. We'll go to our last character, and finally we'll get to relationships and influence and whatnot. Alan, tell us, how's Michael Manners been doing? It's nice to see him again.
Yeah, Michael Manners was an ordinary British kid who came to Prospect City with his mum, a nanotechnologist, and was transformed into a sentient nanoswarm in the accident on a Take Your Child to Work day that killed his mother. Michael has been very angry since, to the point that his natural form now is an 8-foot spiky metallic troll. He has learned to program the nanites to take the shape of an ordinary British schoolboy. And indeed, last term, he was sent to Prospect City Academy to learn to be a teenager rather than an angry troll. That didn't go so well, because the significant thing he learned was that electricity makes him drunk, and it causes his nanite programming to go a bit off. And so his uniform, his shield against the world, is increasingly scruffy. That was caused by his discovery that he apparently is doomed to be the center of an apocalypse, which is nothing any teenager needs to know. Yeah, he's given up on being human. His mundane has dropped to -2. And life he found at school was too complex. He is looking forward to going back to hitting things, because that's very straightforward.
Yeah, when I mentioned, we were talking about this off broadcast, how like if you put masks in a school setting, it just turns into Monster Hearts. Yeah, that happened a lot last month.
Yeah, Didn't we?
Oh, no, not that one.
Didn't we christen it Masks and Hearts?
Yeah, it was a lot. I'm actually looking forward to just like, you know what? Let's just punch things again. And I think I'm in the same boat. Well, not in the same boat, but we'll see how Michael. So what's Michael been doing since? I guess, is he still going to school, to Prospect Academy, or is he just like?
I don't think that worked. I mean, when he punched the teacher, it all went a bit pear-shaped. So he's probably been withdrawn to that Aegis boot camp that whenever he does something wrong, they whip him into. Because Aegis has provided him with a foster carer since his mother was killed, Mrs. Smith, who's a nice woman, but yeah, they kind of take him back for some kind of reprogramming when things don't go well. I think punching a teacher counts as not going well.
Amazing how low key everything happened at damn school was. It was just punching a teenager, a teacher. Let's see. What's I want to know? So what did I describe? What was the thing you heard at the end of the last time we saw you? You described. I'm trying to remember. So,
I discovered that. Well, yeah, a girl did break my heart. She put me on the electricity, and incidentally, she was from the past, not the future, and her future self told me that I was doomed, which simply reinforced what the fascist bird invaders of Prospect City had told me, which was that I was a fixed point in time and space, and I was an apocalypse wherever they looked. Which really is, as I say, it has not set Michael up to be a well-adjusted teen.
Wow, your Wikipedia article must make no sense if you're just reading it. Has Michael in this time, has he gone back? He has gone back to like superheroing, because I remember the first time we saw Michael, he was in the street level play set, so which was just punching a lot of criminals around. Has he gone back to that, do you think?
I think that's where he's more comfortable. Aegis, I think, probably do want him to turn into an adult superhero at some point, and have plans for him, because they keep whipping him back to this base camp, this boot camp. But yes, I think Michael is going out late at night and stopping people who want to steal cars, or thumping drug dealers, etc.
All right. I'm just asking that just to like give everyone else here kind of like excuse to know you, because I do think, you know, word travels fast. There's a lot of teenage superheroes in Prospect City, turns out.
Technically, I was momentarily famous because the bird fascist kidnapped me, but unfortunately my fame didn't last. The one who rescued me, his fame just rolls on and on and on.
Yeah, you might hear more about him considering all the stuff he did in the previous session. Yeah, and yes, I think if you're living like in Prospect City, you would kind of like you did hear that, oh, we're gonna execute this person, this freak, and we're gonna save the world. But that's, again, check out issue whatever YouTube channel. All right, let's before we get into more continuity bollocks, let's go to relationships. Let's go back to the start there. Cash the leaks. Solara, what's your two relationship questions?
Yeah, they are. They obviously have a very good nose for picking my teachers. So I've been learning about Earth by spending time with Michael Manners. Obviously, he knows a lot. Like, he has been through so much, and yeah, it's a great teacher. And I have a crush on Jesse, but I keep it under wraps.
You mean Joseph? His character's name.
My bad.
Unless you want to say something. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry, correcting Joseph.
No worries.
So is it Michael, or is it Freak, or do you know them both?
But they're
Michael's
the
the
same
ordinary
person.
boy, and Freak is the spiky person.
Something like,
Hold on.
I don't know. I'm under assumption that we know each other's both sides of the coin.
No, that's fine. So you know that Michael is Freak, and so are you joining him? You know, beating up drug dealers and stuff.
Yes, because apparently that's what humans do, and you know, you gotta have some sense of justice in the society. And apparently, on Earth, people like us, the superheroes, are allowed to just deliver justice to the criminals. So yeah, that's how the Earth justice system works.
I'm glad you've picked that up.
God damn it. Joseph, Graviton. What are your two relationship questions?
Okay, so the first one is you hang out all the time with blank to blow off steam. Just trying to figure out who Joseph is right now, but I think as long as Paradox is okay with that, I think it would be Paradox 3 that Joseph might hang out with to blow off steam. And I imagine Joseph likes Paradox, but also kind of messes with him a little bit. And like, you know, it's like, hey man, I'm trying to decide between, you know, a ham sandwich and tuna salad for lunch. Which do I pick? I mean, you're from the future, you know, like, you know, or like, man, come on, you can totally level with me. Who wins the Super Bowl this year? You know, might be something like that. Just occasionally having fun with that, but like genuinely likes you and enjoys spending time with you. Does that sound reasonable?
Sounds good.
Okay. And then my second one is you once hurt blank when you lost control of your powers. And questions like this, I don't like just choosing. I feel like that's an agency kind of thing that it gets a little weird. I don't know if either of the rest of you, either of the other two of you have any thoughts on that and would like to be the answer to that one. I don't want to just like say, yeah, I definitely hurt you.
I mean, for what it's worth, I was going to suggest that you comforted me when I was at my lowest, because we both have an Aegis connection.
Okay.
I think
I dig that.
we may have spent time at boot camp together, and your gravity packs a much bigger punch than you would have thought.
That sounds fantastic. I'm way into that. Yes, perfect.
Sorry, tab. Yeah, this all sounds really cool. Up next, Paradox 3. You've got some some big questions there.
Yes. Okay. So I've got my first is blank turns away from the hero's path, according to your history books, and you have to prevent that from happening. So since I was chosen by Joseph, I got the wrong one. Joseph. I get these all mixed up. As like the person I hang out with, it might be interesting if Joseph is the one who turns away from the hero's path. So maybe part of the reason we're hanging out is I'm trying to be a positive influence or to make sure that Joseph doesn't go awry, if that's okay.
Make sure he picks the right sandwich.
Right.
One bad sandwich could just turn you to the path of villainy. Is that what the Joker said? I'm not sure.
It could happen. And then the other one I have is you've always idolized blank, but it's too awkward to admit it to them now that you've met them in real life. Keep it cool. Keep it cool. I think I'll go with Solara in this case. It's the one I've always admired. So this has, again, something to do with my future knowledge, and it's like meeting a hero or something.
Oh yes, so you met the adult version of Solara, and
well, it could be that, or maybe there's information written about you in the future. Yeah, oh yeah, you've got this long lifespan too. So yeah, maybe that's the case.
Ooh. Cool,
interesting. Oh, that's really cool. We could play that. We could play with that in the future, maybe. Finally, this is the fourth time you've had to change these relationships, Michael.
Yeah, so if we're going for Joseph and Graviton, comfort me when I was at my lowest, and that was probably at the last Aegis boot camp, having had my heart broken. So who knew me before I changed? Now that's a tricky one, because is it possible? Because Solara's come from somewhere else, and Paradox 3 has come from the future. It seems how can we make that work for either of you? Oh, did Paradox 3 come back further before coming here?
Well, yes, perhaps you met Paradox 2. So
who looks a lot like Paradox. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'm going to suggest, I tell you what's great. What if I met Paradox 2 the morning my mother's lab blew up?
Ooh.
okay, so maybe I came back for the same exact purpose, and things didn't work, and now I'm back again. Right? Apparently, this is the third time, I guess, given the numbers.
Okay, then Paradox 3.
Interesting. Okay, so last thing to do is influence. I just want to shout that out on camera. Let's see some of you filled it up. But yeah, we'll do influence, and then we're going to take a break, and then I'll lay out exactly a frame where we're starting off. But yeah, let's go back to the start of Character Keeper. Solara, how's your influence?
So my options are choose your demeanor, haughty or cheerful. I think I'm totally cheerful. Like, I'm thrilled to be here. This like race of humans, they are like so interesting. And then there's this guy who tells me that we need to stop some like powerful bad guy. Like man, like it's important. Maybe this guy can even influence my whole world. Like we need to stop him. So I'm like really excited to be here. So give everyone influence over me.
Fab. Graviton, what's your influence?
Yeah. So did you just went with the happy facade? Is that what you went with? Last person. Sorry.
Did I look on the wrong page?
I don't know. I'm looking at mine. I know that's an option on Nova. I'm not sure if.
I think everyone has like two.
Is it the same thing?
No, yeah. For the outsider, it's haughty or cheerful. For you, it's happy or locked down.
Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with happy facade. Just kind of generally acts cheerful-ish, but you know, it's kind of not 100% real there. So I'm gonna give influence to all three of you.
Okay, so you're choosing happy facade.
Yes, I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, so yeah, everyone gets.
I'll put that up here.
There's only 3 other people here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone gets influence over Graviton. How's your influence?
All right, so and yeah, mine says every member of your team has the power to change the future, your future. So give everyone influence over you. So I don't have a choice.
Internet broke up there. Kevin, could you repeat?
Oh, everybody has influence over me. I don't have a choice.
I try not to care what other people think, even if I can't shut everyone out. I give influence to one teammate. So I'm going to choose to give influence to Jesse, because he's the one I think I know best. I don't think I've ever started.
My internet is freaking out. Cannot hear what people are saying.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Nope.
We can definitely hear you, Leandro.
Okay, cool. Sorry, my internet decided to freak out for some reason. Just fiddle these settings. Close some more annoying programs. Okay. Tabs. Why do they hurt so much? Okay, so I see. Yeah, everyone gets influence over Paradox 3. And who did you give your influence to, Michael? Freak?
I gave it to Jesse stroke Graviton.
Okay. Joseph.
Joseph.
All right, cool.
Yes.
All right, so let's take that mythical break. Let's go up to quarter to the top of the hour. Good sizable, like 10-minute, 11-minute break. That's okay with everyone. Now to fix my internet.
All right.
Okay, so like 10 minutes. BRB.
Is it working better? Your internet, I mean.
It's mixed. You broke up a bit there. Hold on, let me see. What else can I do over here? Okay, maybe I should close Pinterest. I don't need you. Give me a sec. Hold on, let me see if I turn my camera off. It's better for me, at least. Okay. Hold on. Try again. Okay. Can you all at least hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, fab. All right, I'll keep this on now. God, I should change that picture. Okay. So, as I mentioned, at a concert, find what that concert is and like what the music capital M letters, who is that going to be? So let's start with you, Mike.
Leandro, you've gone quiet.
You are down on your luck, and these 4 notes that started playing in your.
Leandro, I'm missing chunks of what you're saying, and I see the others nodding as well, I think.
Yeah, same here. Your audio is breaking up.
Going through your life, and you hear like a song. It's like any song, but suddenly there's a melody in that song that kind of snaps into focus into your head. Like, oh, like when you hear that melody, it follows the melody going through your head. What's that? What's the music that you hear? It could be a club track, or it could be an acoustic song. Oh shit. Okay. All right, hold on. Give me a sec. God damn it. Let's see what else can I close.
Maybe you can try like disconnect and connect to the call again.
Hold on.
Maybe you want to try dropping from the call and connecting to the call again.
Connect to some different thing. Yeah. Is we got a new modem. Clearly, it's not working out, so I'm going to switch back to the old connection.
Do you want to pause this one where we are and pick it up again? Part 1, part 2.
No. Okay, I've switched connections, and am I breaking up? Okay, I'm going to talk for a bit. Okay, blah 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 blah. Am I breaking up?
No, that sounds much better, actually.
Yeah, so far so good.
Okay, so never trust your brother in terms of changing modems then. Okay, all right, back on track. Okay, so all right, I'll just restart that spiel again. So we ended up, last time we saw Freak, Michael, these 3 notes started playing in your head. Just it's part of a melody, part of a sonata, so to speak. And just going through your life, you kind of like, it's just been bobbing in your head, but suddenly there's this like song that you probably hear, I don't know, either radio or an ad or something, where you can hear like, you can there's a bit there in that song where it snaps into focus with the melody in your head, where you know like, oh, that bit follows onto that. Now, what's kind of like the song that you heard? What's like, it could be like a club track or an acoustic song, or what's the genre of it?
I think it's punk. I think that Michael has gone back to his British roots and is a fan of 1970s and 80s punk rock.
Ooh.
I think
Funny thing is,
Burning.
ooh. Well, the thing is, this song is actually, it's going to be contemporary, because it could be someone doing a throwback. This musician.
Okay.
Yeah. Figure out a name for them in the moment. Just like, well, we do need to figure out, because once you hear that, it's kind of like you can tell that there's a connection between whatever the song is and what's playing. I need to give them like a proper 80s punk name, because coincidentally enough, like your Carol, Mrs. Smith, is kind of like has kind of seen you down in the dumps at the Aegis base, and she decided that since you kind of connected this song, that hey, why don't you like? I heard that this band is coming over to Prospect City for like a concert or whatnot. Why don't you go? Why don't you take Joseph with you as well? Just blow off some steam. You need to get out of your head for a bit, Michael. I know that the school didn't really work out, but you need to go out there and enjoy yourself.
Okay, Mrs. Smith. If Joseph is up for it, I'll go.
Cut to Joseph talking to their handler, Mary, who I think have decided it's probably two separate people. And Mary's kind of like, yeah, so if you do me a solid, look after Michael. He's one of the other handlers. They're worried, and they noticed that you and Michael seem to be hanging out quite well. So you don't mind coming along with him to this concert? That's okay.
Just hanging out with Michael, going to a concert? Hell yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah, you don't have strong feelings on British punk, right?
I think so. I think Joseph maybe obviously too young for like to have grown up during it, but like loves the punk aspect of it and loves the kind of the just that bit of rebellion and stuff, and like kind of identifies with like, yeah, that stuff's sick. I'm way into that.
Cool, because you're gonna hear a lot of it. I think we probably decided, yeah, this might just be a covers band. If you really want to be London Calling, let's do that. Someone nice. So, and I think this concert, just going through like reasons why any of you would be here. A Buzzcocks reunion. Why not? Why not? Is that in your records, Paradox? That I have to be at this Buzzcocks reunion.
There's the when your team came together bit, and it's like there's something that was supposed to be stopped. I was thinking, what if there was like this band and their show was so loud that it caused an earthquake? So maybe this is what we're trying to stop.
There are Buzzcocks covers band called Nevermind. Yeah. And ooh, yeah, I think it is a Clash tribute band called London Calling. And maybe like there was a time enough where maybe while during one of your like adventures into the night, Freak probably mentioned that band to you, Solara, at some point. Or you could just be in the vicinity. I don't mind. I just need like, are you even a fan of Earth music?
I think they find Earth music weird that people play on some common items, and then they're fascinated by this music. It's weird, but hey. I heard that Michael is going, so why not? And Joseph, so I should definitely go and listen in and maybe try to understand it. Maybe this one will be different. I don't know. I don't know what punk is. So.
Oh, I think Michael will have told you that this is what all Earth people like a lot.
Okay. So yeah. I have my hopes slightly up that it will be something better than the modern music.
Fab. So Michael, what is?
Sorry, can I just? I am curious because you look very distinctive, don't you, Solara?
Yes, I do.
That's going to stand out in a punk tribute band concert. I warn you.
I have to but I think that people are used to in the setting for superheroes or not.
Oh, they'll be used to it because a couple months ago, some bird aliens invaded the city. They'll be well used to it at this point.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Solara just looks at you stand out as well, so they will be looking at both of us. Yes.
Well, I'm taking a battery, so things may get wild.
Oh, wild. Yeah, Wild is my second name. Like this 2 nights ago when we were in this car chase behind those guys. After those guys that stole the Ferrari and then robbed the bank. Yeah, like seems interesting.
Yeah, it was great being in your spaceship. I've never chased a car in a spaceship.
Yeah, it was a tricky flying, but we did it. We managed.
Oh,
Rock and roll.
These two are adorable. So Michael, tell us what this venue is like for this Clash tribute band.
Yeah, but it's a Clash tribute band. It's probably not the best Clash tribute band because it wouldn't be playing Prospect City if it was. So I think it's in a fairly rundown theatre in near Shoreline. We called it Shoreline, the slightly rundown district, didn't we? And maybe this is one of the few buildings that survived intact and from the bird aliens, and it's in an area that has not had much money spent on it to bring it back to normal. So it's kind of all there is around here apart from ruins and slums.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when Joseph walks in and is like, "This place is a dump. I love it."
So what's Paradox say when they kind of go in? He goes, I'm imagining this kind of like a free or not free, but like it's easy to get in enough.
Well, Paradox has brought along earplugs and distributes them amongst the rest members of the team. And warning, from what I recall, this show is dangerously loud. You will need to put these in.
Someone passes, this drunk guy passes you, and he sees you. He's like, "Hey man, cool Cyberman costume," and he walks off. Yeah.
As the black and white Borg, he is the black and white Borg. He may look a little more emo than punk, but okay, it goes with it.
Okay, so the band's playing, and they go through the hits. You know, I fought the law. Should I stay or should I go? I'm not a big Clash fan. Those are the two songs I know. But so, how are y'all enjoying the music while this is happening? Actually, let's start with you, Solara.
It's tremendous.
God damn it.
I think we see the scene where we are like somewhere in the crowd, and Solara, I imagine she's like maybe like a little bit shorter than humans, so they just like starts to levitate, and we see them like, because they can fly, so and so we see them like a chest up high above the crowd, just like for them it's like naturally levitating, and maybe the crowd like takes a few steps away. There's something weird happening here, but then they land, and then just like theatrical whisper to Joseph, and they say, "So your people call this a music? Like they are like playing and hitting this like this like drum, and what's so interesting about this?"
I think at this point Joseph's maybe kind of dancing. He's just like, "Hey, just start moving to the beat. You hear that like, you know, bit in the back, and I just kind of like start to like count it off for you, and I'm like, you know, just kind of like move around, do your thing, you know, no big deal. It's just fun."
Oh yeah, beat, and they just like start like going like up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, beat, yeah, why not? Like,
yeah, just yes, exactly like that. That is what you're supposed to do.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Okay, so if Michael finds this tremendous, I have to know what Paradox. How are you feeling about this? Music.
What Paradox makes his way over to the soundboard and the mixing area, and basically is annoying the guy there to no end, to tell him to adjust this and turn this down, and that should be higher and this should be lower. And whenever he's not distracted by the lighting effects, which are probably a big distraction for him. He keeps bugging the guy to make adjustments on the sound levels.
And the guy's kind of like, what look, I'm the one being paid here to do this, kid. Go back to bothering Picard. Yeah, I know where you're from. I'm doing my job here.
Paradox hears that a lot, and no one's really explained the reference. So, he hears this Picard nonsense quite a bit.
Yeah, so I think while you're dancing, and Michael's presumably just enjoying himself for the first time in months or weeks, just jumping up and down. So yeah, the band strikes up London Calling, and it's like, we're gonna play our song. It's what we're named for, but it's not ours. It's yours, because that's punk apparently. So London Calling starts playing, and you notice this, Michael, that they've added a bit of there. There's this one drum riff that they kind of sandwich in the bridge, and you hear that, and it sandwiches it connects to the melody in your head, and then all hell breaks loose as just out of nowhere, just from the roof, smashes through these 5 objects, and they kind of smash around the stage surrounding the band. There's these 5 black and gray cubes that suddenly start folding out into these blocky humanoid figures. 2 of them are facing to the band. The other 3 are facing away. They are kind of how they look like a lot like humanoid soldiers made out of cubes, kind of forming into bipedal robotic creatures, and they form this. They all have this block head with these red glowing eyes, and the one at the lead just starts shooting into the roof, and these loud shotgun blasts as they suddenly start firing through the roof, bringing down chunks down on the people, and everyone scatters. Obviously, when they just start running, and you just hear these robots kind of squawking, "Sonata detected! Sonata detected!" as they kind of surround the band. And so 2 of them are surrounding the band, 3 of them are facing out to the crowd. There's a bit we have to do before Battle with a Dangerous Foe starts.
Just before we go there, I think that Solara just they land next to Joseph and just say yeah, finally some special effects.
Special effects, yeah, but I'd keep an eye on them right now. I don't know if they were invited.
Okay, so when you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the team pool. I'll direct your attention to the column at the very far right on the PC's character keeper. So, at the start of the session, you start with 1, and then add 2, so now you have 3. Team is how you aid, basically. You spend that 1 for 1 to add a +1 to another player's roll. You can only spend 1 team at a time as well. Okay, so you start with 3, and then we answer a bunch of questions, see if you get more. Who's the leader of this team? If you don't have a leader, then you're not going to get any more team.
I'm not sure we know yet, do we?
No. Oh, this could be interesting. Well, if you can't decide on a leader, then there's just that 3 team is all you're going to have. Then you can generate more with moves and whatnot.
And unless Paradox 3 knows what to do.
We've got to shut this song down. It has to be stopped.
Ooh.
Yeah, the earplugs weren't enough, were they?
It would appear not.
Okay, so let's say Paradox Tree then. Okay. Oh, click the wrong tab. No, I don't want to open you Photoshop. No. Ah, all right. So Photoshop's opening now. If the leader has influence over every teammate, add another team. Oh, you're missing one.
I do not. I do not have influence over Michael.
Interesting. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, add another team. Does everyone have the same purpose in the fight? What's everyone's purpose?
I'm going to hit one of them because they've interrupted the greatest band on Earth.
Well, a tribute to the greatest band on Earth.
And therefore the closest thing to the greatest band on Earth.
It's everyone around the same vicinity of that purpose. You can be honest. You can say no.
I'm going to say no because I just got this idea in my head that I need to stop this song. So it's not so much about punching the robots or whatever those are.
Okay.
I think Solara, they don't know their purpose in this fight yet. They might be saving people, maybe having someone. It's hard to say. So far, it's like special effects. Come on.
Okay. I should have added one more thing. You hear like the front robot squawking. You know, Sonata detected. Sonata detected. The two that are surrounding the band and are squawking differently. They're squawking now. You have a piece of the Sonata. You are now the property of Ominous. You will come with us. So you heard that as well. Does that change anyone's purpose in this fight?
Absolutely not. Not only is the best band on Earth.
Oh, sorry. Go on, Jesse.
Sorry, at this point, I'm just pissed off at the people at these things just ruining the party here. It's like we were here listening to some awesome music, and now this. Like, no, not okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think Solara purpose will be to like save the band so that they can keep playing. I think it's aligned with everyone else, unless someone.
It does now sound like the band is in danger. So the right thing would be to save them.
Yeah, I think it's all aligned. Even the hitting things is the purpose of that. So I'll let you have that. So you don't have 14. 14. Now for the fun questions, which could take away team. If any team member mistrusts the leader or the team, remove one team. I think you're all our friends. You're all on the same page. Yeah, so that's good.
It's early in the series for mistrust.
Yeah. If your team is ill-prepared or off balance, remove a team. You probably weren't prepared to save anyone, but you weren't that ill-prepared. I think I'll go with like, you're all probably fine. You might do fine. Who knows? You'll do fine. Okay, so yeah, these 5 block robots. Would you want to Paradox? Did you want to bring up something? I just saw you unmute and say, all right, okay, cool. So yeah, these 5 block robots, 2 of which have surrounded the band, and they're coming closer. And the band have kind of like huddled together because the 2 robots are blocking like the exits, stage left and right. Or the 3 are kind of surrounding them as a guard, being like, "Do not interfere. We are here to acquire the property of Ominous. Do not even try." Who wants to like?
I'd like to assess the situation. I think that I need to consult my my database and see what I can come up with. So I'm gonna, if I could.
That's so Paradox 3. I'm just going to hit one.
Yeah, the amount of times where people have just run in and hit things without realizing they can assess them. Okay, assess the situation. Let's do that. That is with Superior. So
roll 2d6 and add 2 to that.
Yes. And you have your move, 21st Century Studies. You have one question you can ask even on a miss.
All right, so I got a 9. So that means I get to ask one question, and then I also get to ask the other question. So the one I always get to ask is, what does the future know about this moment?
Oh, what the future knows about this moment. So you mentioned your future is like a singularity monochrome like state. Well, what they know about it is that this is probably, and you can as your memory kind of unfogs as you kind of look through your database. What they know about this moment is that this is key to creating the singularity, because what happens here is sets in motion a chain of events that leads to the discovery of more of this sonata. And what you learn, and you can share this with everyone, this becomes kind of common knowledge, that the sonata, the apocalypse sonata, is the key to reordering the universe. You need all of it to reorder the universe. But if you want to reorder just like one tiny planet in the solar system, you only need a few pieces of it. And right now there are 2 pieces of it in this room. The most that a piece has ever been, the most pieces ever been together on Earth. And you know that the appearance of these robots, they make the Sonata known to Earth. Like, that's how the people who will one day kind of build the singularity know this thing that can reorder the universe is through this attack. Because, you got these robots squawking there's about a Sonata.
All right. And then for the question from the list that I get to ask is, what here can I use to acquire one or more of those pieces of the Sonata that are present?
Well, you see that they're going after the band. In fact, you probably notice it. They came in just with that drum fill came in, and you notice the drummer. Drummer is this lady, who's punk lady, who was half her head is shaved, and she's it's all blue, and she's got like a leather vest with like a vest with like a lot of pins and whatnot. She's the one who added in that extra drum fill, and so that whatever that drum fill is, which it's hard to recall what it is because in the heat of the moment, the robots came in just as when she did that drum fill. So
all right,
she has the piece.
As I learned that, I then shout out to the rest of the team, we've got to save the drummer. Save the drummer. It's imperative.
The singer is like, what about the rest of
us? Well, no harm in saving extras, but it's imperative that we save the drummer.
With a cry of save the drummer, save the world, I hit them.
Okay. You're now in your spiky form, I assume.
Yeah, I want to be the monster. When I frightened him, intimidate, or cow others with my monstrous form, roll plus freak.
Okay, we'll see if they are these. You're going for the main one, I assume, the one up front.
Yeah. Whichever one's nearest, I really don't care. 5, okay. So that gets to 8. On 7, I choose 2. You frighten others you had not intended to scare. Yes, the crowd. You hurt someone or break something you shouldn't have.
Ooh. Sure, you don't want to just mark a condition?
No, not yet.
Okay. So this is easy enough. So you turn into your big, spiky, 8-foot tall form to try and cow these robots, and they're cow. So the weirdest thing happened. They are cowed in the sense that suddenly the tree in front of you just suddenly start kneeling, and and suddenly their hands are kind of like alert, alert, alert. They're just shouting alert. But when you kind of do your form, the drummer who moments ago was kind of like, you're one of the extras to the singer, sees you in your big spiky form and just starts freaking the fuck out, just screaming, and she's kind of trying to run away, but her band member's kind of like, no, you're here to save us. But sorry, that's my knee knocking at the table there. So yeah, and you hurt someone or break something you shouldn't have. Ooh, what could that mean? I think so how are you attacking actually when you're doing your big
Well,
form?
yeah, it's pretty well known because he's a swarm. What he's able to do is inflate his size by just making himself vaguely hollow. So he swells to this 8-foot spiky form, and gives them, again, because the nanites at the back of his maw simply vibrate, and you get this thunderous roar, and he just looks enormous, big, and frightening. And his working assumption is this works on everything, whether they're human or not. So that's what I do, and with success on a hit, they are thrown off, make themselves vulnerable to me, or they flee.
Well, they're thrown off. Oh, they're making us vulnerable, but the two who were around the band are still got their gun arms aimed, but the other three are suddenly kind of like cowed by your presence and are just kneeling for some reason.
And what usually happens at this point is that somebody else in the team goes and does actually something useful.
We don't go through that. You hurt someone or break something you shouldn't have. So what happens is when you kind of make your roar, the vibration, you're in a crappy theater and shotgun blast has already happened on the roof. So when you do a roar, the roof kind of like starts collapsing around. All right, it won't gonna hit anyone, but what you see is up in the night sky, this massive floating ship suddenly kind of uncloak from the stars. And you can see like there's like a artillery gun at the bottom, and it starts aiming towards the theater, this big boxy like rectangular shaped gun. Solara, how are you? I'm just jumping around. So the lay of the land, 3 robots kneeling to Freak, who's just turned into a big freak. The 2 are around the band, still there, and the drummer is now screaming her head off because Freak has decided to be all freaky. What do you do?
Maybe you can jump to someone else first. I'm just still getting my bearings over here.
All right, no worries. Okay, Joseph, what do you do? Oh, Graviton. Let's use superhero names here.
So at this point, need to do my Nova thing, which is to first thing I have to do is power up, basically charge up my powers. I could act without it, but this gives me all sorts of other cool stuff I can do. So let's see. So when I charge up my powers, it's a move I have to roll. I have to roll plus conditions, and on a hit, I hold 3 burn. On 7 and 9, I have to mark a condition in addition to getting those 3 burn. On a miss, I hold 2 burn and mark 3 conditions. So I'm going to roll that real fast. Let's see. So no conditions to roll with, so just rolling flat here. Let's see. And that is a 6, which is awesome. So I guess I'm going to mark 3 conditions and get 2 hold.
Yeah, so I don't know if people can help you out on this.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not, but yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm definitely going to take.
Like, if you describe like how is your powering up working?
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you powering?
So what?
Because we can help you by talking you into it or something, but just how does it look?
Yeah, it's pretty relatively simple. So I'm imagining kind of pulls his hoodie just down over his eyes, but you start to get like kind of a purple glow coming from within the mask, like levitates off the ground maybe like an inch or 2, and then kind of gets like really super hot air out in the desert. You know how you can get that kind of wavy effect in your vision. I'm imagining that kind of like surrounding his body, but with like kind of a slight purple tinge to coloration to it. And so kind of just like levitating there with hoodie down, weird wavy air around him. So I'm going to take...
so you have a 6, yes?
Yeah, I got a 6.
Well, if this will like work for a help, I think so. I think Solara, they would definitely like give you a pat on the back and just like say, "Yeah, go get them, Tiger."
Yeah, we can spend that team to add that +1. I think that moral encouragement, moral encouragement works as well. So one less team, but you are now on a 7, so you don't have 7 to mark.
So I take 3 hold and mark 1 condition. I'm gonna mark angry because these idiots ruined my concert that I'm listening to, and so yeah, take an angry and bump in my burn up to 3. And I think the first thing, can I do something with this now? Use that burn real quick. Okay. At least one thing I want to do real fast is like one of my. I'm gonna basically like put out a hand towards the band back there, and I'm gonna erect a gravity wall between them and the robots that are back there. So you basically get that same effect of like shimmery air with like a bit of a purple tinge to it, kind of between the two. And the way this is written, it says spend 1 burn to create a barrier that will hold back threats as long as you keep your attention on it. The GM may call for you to spend another burn if the barrier is threatened by particularly powerful enemies.
These are just mooks. I'll just tell you now. They're blocky mooks. So you erect your gravity moat around the band, kind of seals off the drummer screaming, and the robots who aren't genuflecting turn to you, and they kind of see like, yeah, they see where the energy's coming from. And they're gonna move to, shoot. Meanwhile, the ship's up there in the sky. Solara, well, you've given your encouragement, but now you see that the two robots who aren't kneeling to Freak are aiming their gun arms at Graviton. What do you do?
Yeah. So I suppose I will like. Take a step in front of him and just like move my hands together, and we see these hands like getting like getting lighter, getting more light and more light, and we see like my hands are like emanating this like a full spectrum of like sun rays to basically like blind them if possible, or like if they are thermal vision, they will just like see heats everywhere, probably will block some vision to like step in and protect the Joseph by distracting the enemies.
All right. Yeah. Sounds like you're defending someone with an intermediate threat. So you're gonna roll plus savior.
That's gonna be. Let's see how this will go. Plus 0.
Do you have influence over Joseph? Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. So I add 1.
You get a +1.
Oh, so it's a full 10 then.
Fab. Okay, so on a 10 plus, on a hit, you keep them safe and you choose one. You can add a team to the pool, take influence over someone you protect, or clear a condition. You don't have any conditions right now, so.
I already have influence.
What that does is if you take influence over someone you already have influence, you can shift their labels, which means you can move one of their labels up and one of their labels down. So what happens when you take influence over someone you already have influence over?
Oh my god, it's so strange. Okay.
I can just add a team. One or the two.
I will for now add 1 to the pool.
Okay, so you're right. The light kind of like distracts them as they kind of they try to shoot at Graviton, but they're disorientated. They don't know what they're shooting at. They're just shooting around, and it looks like it's all incapacitated. But suddenly you all hear this screech coming from the ship, and the artillery gun just fires off, and this just bolt of light smashes into the middle of the room, well, not the middle of the room, but like near the robots, and you can hear kind of like metal clinking over metal as something is unfolding in the smoke. And once the smoke kind of clears, you see this creature. Oh, I closed the Pinterest board. This tall, 10-foot tall, like robotic silvery metal bipedal human thing just made out of spikes, just segmented spikes all around. Like they've got like this, they've got a head of like spikes going, and it's just this one red eye, and it kind of turns, and it turns this weird way where its torso just literally turns while its legs stay in place. Turns to the four of you, looks at you, freak. Well, it looks at everyone with these big red eyes, and it's got, it's like a 90s comic book character, spikes on spikes on spikes. It looks at the four of you, and you just hear this like heavy bass voice just go, meat. And it kind of like clicks its fingers, and the robots start forming up into back to blocks, and they move, and they start assimilating into this creature, and it just grows inside. It's now 12 foot tall. It's got all these spikes, and it looks at you, Graviton, and it's like, your petty gravity tricks won't stand against the might of Ominus. His will is law. His will be yours soon.
I think that that Joseph, aka Graviton, just kind of starts laughing at like, ominous? That's such a stupid name. Come on. It's like, we've already protected these people. You can't do anything to us. I dare you to try.
Okay. Dare him to try. Okay. Sounds like you're
engage a threat. He stole my look. He's going down.
I want to. Well, let's. I'm kind of going through an order. Paradox. What do you want to do first? You see this like big thing.
At the utterance of the name ominous, I'd like to use my connecting the dots ability.
So when you push yourself to remember. Oh,
yeah, push myself to remember the version of someone that exists in the future. So I'm with the name ominous. I have to see what the deal is with ominous. So I'm supposed to roll and add my memories, which are currently -1. So it's going to be roll 2d6. Oh, and market condition. Again, angry seems like the obvious one here. So I'll mark angry and submit. So that's a 7 - 1 is 6.
Ooh. First off, mark potential.
Well, can I use a team point to increase that?
If someone's helping you, or you have to describe how you're doing this selfishly.
Well,
no, actually, no, that won't help because that's only to shift labels, and this move doesn't.
Oh, it's not based off a label. Ugh, that is a problem. Yeah, and it doesn't really make sense that anybody would be able to really help me focus on remembering something.
But the only thing I can think of is my gravity manipulation could somehow interact with your time stuff. I'm not sure, there's some weird wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff with gravity. So, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's helpful.
Probably not in this instance.
We'll take that miss. Or do you have an idea?
Okay. No, I think that works. So on a failure, I think I would be able to assign them to one of those roles, but I think on a failure you get to do that. Let me double check.
Yeah, on a miss, they're not at all who you thought they would be. The GM will choose their role or tell you that, as far as you know, they don't exist in the future. Okay. So ominous doesn't sound like a cool guy. Doesn't sound like a cool guy at all. Right. The weird thing is, in your weird future, because the thing is, you're up against a singularity, You're just up against like this thing that's controlled the earth. And actually, the thing is, Ominous is kind of like, he's kind of a big deal in this series. So I'll probably just take the latter in that. As far as you know, they don't exist in the future, which is weird because it's meant to be kind of a big deal. But no, it just doesn't strike a bell. Ominous, you don't know what it is. I think that's partially because Earth, the Earth in your time was so closed off. Like alien people, you might not have as much info on them as you thought you would. At least for this person, for Ominous. So this, oh, go on. Okay,
That's good. Okay.
Okay, so you said your words, Graviton, to this spikes on spikes on spikes person, and they just look at you like whatever, and suddenly you hear that screech again, and the eye mouth thing opens up, and it just starts shooting a shit ton of spikes towards you. You can do something, or someone can defend you. I don't know.
Let's see. I kind of want to
defend him.
Oh, sorry. Let's start. Do you want to defend, Freak?
Yeah. I've got the ability impenetrable armor. I want to throw a screen of impenetrable dense nanites between him and the spikes.
Man, everyone wants to defend Joseph today.
That's something I can aid on too. I have a mechanic that I can spend my burn to aid stuff too if you want a bonus to the roll.
Oh, this is a straight up defend.
Okay.
Freak.
Okay.
But yeah, you can add a. Oh, go on. Sorry, Freak.
That may be a bad mistake if my savior is 0, but you know me.
Let's see.
Oh, 6. Oh, great. I'll mark potential then.
Well. Do you?
Yeah.
Hold on. Does Graviton want to help? Joseph, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, one of my flares are the moves that let me use my burn. One of them is called Boost. So I can spend 1 burn to supercharge a teammate's efforts with my powers, giving them a +1 bonus to their roll as if I'd spent a team from the pool. So I can just spend 1 of my burn to kind of like add an overlay of, like wavery, purpley, like gravity field kind of stuff on top of the what you're putting up there to give you a +1.
Fine. So that gets me all the way to 7. 7 to 9, it costs you. So I do protect him. You expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
You can also choose one of the 3 there.
Yeah. Well. I think because it's Freak, he exposes himself to danger. But I will add 1 to the team pool.
Okay. So what happens is, you get the boost and the spikes start hitting you. You expose yourself to danger. So what's going to happen is suddenly this flood of spikes starts to solidify into kind of like this taut, like weird metallic, almost metallic like rope. That's when it starts hitting you, it's starting to like merge with you, with your nanite self, and this rope thing coming out of his face is starting to. You're gonna take a powerful blow here, Freak, because he's trying to assimilate you. So with that, you're gonna roll plus conditions.
I've got no conditions, but I do have the move. I am not my body. When I take a physical blow, I roll as if I had 2 fewer conditions marked. So I roll 2d6 minus 2.
Good luck.
Oh, jeez.
No, you want to miss on a take.
I know. So 10 minus 2 is not missing by enough. So that gets me to 8. I lash out verbally, provoke a teammate to fully give ground.
Give ground or mark 2 conditions.
Yeah. I'll mark a condition, which is going to be angry. I will give ground. My opposition gets an opportunity.
Okay, so so what happens is, as you're kind of being pulled in by this rope thing, the spikes around it suddenly form another head on its shoulder, and it's this one is the same head with the spikes coming in and the big eye, and it sees you, Solara, and you hear the bass voice going, "A representative of Zanov. Ominous will remember this slight." And the opportunity is on its back, it starts forming one of those gun arms that is simulated from the block robots. And it's charging up, and it's gonna start shooting at your moat, Graviton. So be ready for that. But Solara, it's got its second head looking at you. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm. Okay. Okay. I think Solara is like a little bit out of her element here because nobody yet spoken of their homeworld here, and this creature clearly knows it. So and Paradox shouted something. Think about save the drummer, but which one of those four is the drummer? Hard to say. So I think we see Solara that are just like nimbly fly, just like very close to the earth, just on the scene, and we see them just like I'm constantly messing the pronouns, and we see them just like take the keychain and on the keychain we see like a decoration, and they like click the decoration 3 times, and it's like boom, and it like expands into like this like a van-sized spaceship because it can change shape, and then they just like shout to the band like quick, get in, and they just like jump in first to get into the cockpit. So I'm not sure if you want to change this into a chase scene. Who knows? Maybe we will. So yeah, I'm just putting this moment of this like barrier between us to like give them a chance to like load into the ship.
Ooh, interesting. So okay, I want to see how well that action goes. And the move says you're using the ship you're basically defending the band, but you're gonna roll superior because you're using your ship.
Yeah. Defend someone using. Oh yeah, superior. Cool.
It's a +2, so.
Reroll selected. 7 + 2 is 9.
9. So yeah, on a 7 to 9, it costs you. But on a hit, you keep them safe and you choose one of the 3 again. But on a 7 to 9, it costs you. Expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
If possible, I'd like to help her with that. On that move using a point of team, and as when we knowing Solara and idolizing her, seeing her go for the ship, I know what she's thinking. So I'm trying to maybe manipulate the crowd or get people out of the way so that goes a little bit better than planned.
Okay, I'll accept that. So that goes up to a that goes up to a 10. So you don't have to choose a danger or escalation then. Solara, you just get you do what you do, and then you pick one of the 3. You can clear condition, add a team to the pool, or take influence over people you're protecting, which means the band here.
I think in this case it totally makes sense for me to take influence over the band because hey, they get on a cool spaceship. And yeah, and I'm protecting them. So yeah.
I've not thought of a name for the drummer, so we'll just say yeah, you took influence over London Calling. Okay, so with Paradox help, yeah, you come in, and I assume Graviton, you're gonna let the shield come out for a bit, so they can get into the ship, the Trident, the space cruiser. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as that happens, I drop the shield and let them move through.
Yeah, so they come. So they pile in. The drummer has calmed down because they can't see Freak now, and I assume you're jetting off.
That depends if the team gets also on the trident. But yeah, once the band is in, I think Solara would start piloting to get out. Possibly we need to like blow up some exits, so probably like shoot the wall to get the exit, and just like I'm not sure if you have comms, so maybe we see this like opening like a side window and shouting, "I'm getting the band out of here," and just like closing the side window, and then just like going through the wall.
Okay, let's get to the other team first, because so Graviton and Paradox, they're fine right now in terms of like they're not getting sucked into this big spiky creature, unlike Freak. But they see that the band is getting away on the ship, and they turn to the Star Cruiser as it's piloting out this thing, and it just this screech comes out again, this big siren-like, just ear-piercing scream as it kind of tries to lumber it, but it doesn't want to let go of Freak. So Freak's kind of being dragged chest first as they're still connected, and you can feel Freak that it's trying to gobble up your nanites. This creature.
So I take your pick. Transmuting flesh or technopathy to unpick that connection with me using Unleash My Powers.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you which one depending on how well your roll is.
Fine. Okay. So Unleash My Powers is plus Freak, which is what I do. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
And these are the same dice I used last time we played.
Well,
yeah,
mark potential.
Mark potential. Yeah, last time you played, you failed 4 times.
6.
6. And there was a session where you failed like 4 times, and all of those were on Pierce the Mask rolls. We just told us your character was not good at figuring people out. Okay, so yeah, mark potential and what you feel. You poor thing. Well, you got an advance. Well, first off, you try to connect to this creature's like whatever it is, but okay, here's the freaky part. Obviously, the creature fights back, but it fights with such a ferocity and knowledge of what you're made of that it starts swarming over your chest as it's like as more of this like metal starts covering you, and you can feel you're being dragged into its face, and the other head actually starts chuckling. Actually, no. Now what happens is the second head is looking at the Star Cruiser Trident, and out comes from the other shoulder a third head, and while the second head is screeching at Solara, the third head is just looking at you, Freak, and it's just like, nothing but a pup, still a child, still just an accident, as it's converting more of you into it. So Graviton, you're seeing all this happening.
Yeah, I think at this point Graviton is like, you don't mess with my friends like that, and is going to, I have another flare that I can use to spend my last burn on that's called Snatch. It says spend 1 burn to use your powers to seize any one object up to the size of a person from someone within view. I am imagining, and tell me if this seems reasonable for the move, but like based on the fact that what the character is and everything, but I'm imagining like kind of like reaching out and insinuating my kind of gravity influence between every, the bits of Freak and of this monster, and actually setting up kind of a gravity repulsion almost between the two to separate them.
Actually, before you do that, Freak, I need you to mark a condition. I'm just going to make you mark a condition. How are you feeling?
Well, because I'm expecting my doom at any minute, I currently feel hopeless.
All right, we'll mark hopeless. Oh, that's just for Freak, not yourself there. Graviton. Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, just for Freak. But yeah, so that flare looks like you can just do it.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of just happens, except I have to spend a burn, and then I'm back at 0 burn, which is
okay.
So if that happens, what you'll notice is that the glow from my, like under my hood, and the waviness of the air around me, and the fact that I was kind of levitating over, like an inch or so off the ground, that all goes away. So I'm no longer like, I've used up the charge that I've got currently.
So that means this has happened. So you rip Freak out from the thing, from the spiky thing, and that happens. The metal retracts back to the head, and all three heads just look at the three of you and just start screeching again. But this time there's 3 heads, and you can hear like the theater ringing as it kind of turns, look away, and looks toward the Star Cruiser, the spaceship Trident, which I assume, Solara, are you still waiting for your dudes to try and pile on, or are you just trying to get the band out? Or,
well, coming to think of it, leaving the team in a time of need is not what. Yeah, I'm curious between like setting up a future discussion between player characters and just like leaving or just staying. I'm not sure what's more interesting at this point, because me leaving could like spark an uninteresting discussion later.
I think you're it could be interesting.
Yeah, let's use something. So maybe that was their plan, to just like save the band, and like the band's like sitting on the chairs, wrapping the seat belts, and then they see that that Freak has some troubles, and since Freak is their mentor, kind of like teaching them about the Earthlings, so one does not abandon their teacher. So we see like with another press of the button, the trident like expands, and I link the image of the trident, and we see this like guns unfolding from which were like hidden in the ship, and they say like through the loudspeakers, "Leave my body alone!" And then just like presses the big red button, and all like missiles, lasers, plasma guns, just like unleashes everything that there is on this thing.
Okay, that sounds like you're directly engaging a threat, and since you're using a ship, you can still roll superior.
Oh yeah.
Unleash all that hell. So yeah, roll plus 2.
It's 7 plus 2. It's a 9.
Oh, does anyone want to spend a team to bump that up to a 10? What?
Yes. I think that the killer blow will be, I will extend a sheet of reflective nanite to just catch that plasma bolt that was going to miss and deflect it onto the target.
All right, so that can bump it up to 10. So on a 10 plus, you're on a hit, you trade blows. On a 10 plus, you pick 2. So the options are resist or avoid their blows, take something from them, create an opportunity for your allies, or impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I think I'm going to take something from them. So we like see like one of the superheated plasma shots just like pierce this thing which was connecting the Omnibus to Freak, and this is like melted in between, and definitely like being hit with such amount of firepower creates an opportunity for my allies to do something.
Well, even Freak is jumping on the ship.
Ooh, so is everyone jumping on the ship, or Paradox? What are you doing?
Could that be the opportunity that they're opening up for us to make an escape?
Yeah, the opportunity. Yeah, create an opportunity for you for basically for you all to do whatever you want, which is probably to escape. Yeah.
I think since we've got the band on board, that the wise thing to do here is to use that opportunity to get aboard the ship.
Cool. Graviton, I assume you're coming along, or okay. Okay, so all right, so you've unleashed hell. You're shooting all this plasma, and yeah, as the three bundle into the ship, you just hear, okay, yeah, I'll tell you what's gonna happen in a moment. So you've unleashed hell. You're shooting this thing, and this thing who's just screeching, all that, and it's got 3 heads, so it's screeching a lot, and then suddenly they're like,
and as I'm like shooting and it's screeching, I like open the side window and I shout, "Here's a warm welcome from Zanov, you omnivore or whatever."
So yeah, okay. So at that, they just screech some more, and then you hear like the ship is still up there, the big ship, and you kind of suddenly hear this like big like whine as this beam of light shines on the creature, and you can see it kind of being beamed up, and you gotta communicate to your ship. I assume there's like a view screen or something, and it's not even gonna wait for you to pick up. It's just gonna patch in, and you see like, what do you see? You see like what you're looking at is you see just like darkness shrouded by this big red hood, and you hear kind of like this kind of soft voice, and it just says, "So these are the ones who will stand against Ominous." You and Zanov and the rest, huh? Well, little Zenovian, let your people know that Ominous is coming for them. You have marked the doom of your people, and they'll have no one to blame but yourself. So run, little Zenovian. You and your friends. Run as fast as you can, but know that the reach of Ominous will find you eventually. But do try and run. Makes the chase much more enjoyable. And the screen cuts off, and this massive ship just moves out to the sky, off to wherever else. But before you can like react more, another communique hits, and this one's weird. First, it starts off as these 4 notes that Michael knows really well, and suddenly it's the drum fill into the 4 notes, and the drummer in the back's like, "Wait, what? What? Wait!" And then suddenly there's like a procession, a new addition at the start, into the drum fill, and into the notes that Michael knows, and you hear like this voice come in. And it's like, "Are you the ones who saved the Sonata from Ominous?"
I think Solara is like too confused by everything that happens, so someone else can pick up the communication.
Paradox, I think, would arise to the occasion and move up to the communications panel and Yes, we mission accomplished. We have kept the pieces of the Sonata from Ominous. To whom am I speaking?
You're speaking to one of. You're speaking to. Well, we should meet. My name is Kybalion, and I have been at war at Ominous for far too long. We must meet soon. I have this piece of the Sonata we must gather, and I shall tell you all about Ominous and what he wants. And you see like a beacon, kind of like beam to the ship and coordinates somewhere on Earth, and it's calling you that way. And I think we're just about time, so we'll wrap up there for now. It's a bit of a cliffhanger, and
real quickly before we go, if I could try to use that, I want to get a name on that connecting the dots thing. So the Kybalion, is that the name? That
yeah,
the person. I'd like to attempt to use that for the connecting the dots and see if I can get something there.
Okay, let's see if this works out. Yeah, -1.
Because once I get a name on there, it becomes a little easier. All right, reroll.
Use that move on your PCs, on your friends.
All right, so that's a 7. Oh, but that becomes a 6 then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so you could assign it to a slot or say that it's not important, but that name that's your option. The options were monster, traitor, corruptor, martyr, architect, or leader.
Okay, so you know how you figured out that the Singularity got pieces of the Sonata to help create their monochromaverse. Well, guess where they got those pieces of the Sonata from? You know that there's a name where they got the Sonata from. And you know from your records that this person was the traitor who gave the pieces to the Singularity, whoever made the Singularity. This Kybalion.
So that would that be then?
That's traitor.
Traitor. Okay, got it.
Okay. So all right. So on that note, as you kind of probably like figured it out as you all zoom off to meet with Kybalion, we'll end the session there. Let's do end of session stuff, and then a quick stars and wishes once we've stopped the broadcast. So I'll let you all go fairly quickly. End of session. It's fairly simple. At the end of every session, choose one. Grow closer to the team, grow into your own image of yourself, or grow away from the team. Let's start the order of the character keeper. Solara, how are you feeling? Which one of the three?
I'm thinking. If I grow closer to the team, give influence to the character, and clear a condition or mark potential.
Okay. So who made you feel well? Oh, go
on. Explain who made me feel welcome. I think definitely both Joseph and Michael made me feel more welcome because they invited me to go with them for this concert. So it was cool to bond with the others.
The thing is, for this move, you have to pick a specific one because you're going to give influence to that character.
Yeah.
So Michael makes more sense because you had that cute scene where the two of you are just talking.
Yeah. So Joseph. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Joseph.
I was talking to Joseph a lot. I didn't I saved Freak, but I didn't interact with him more. I was talking to Joseph.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So since you give influence to them, but since they already have influence over you, they get to shift your labels.
Mm-hmm.
So Joseph, what are you shifting?
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at their labels real quick, and I am going to I'll shift your savior up one and your mundane down one because you both defended me and helped kind of to encourage me on one of those and gave me an extra point to a roll there. So yeah, I think you're think Savior
Cool.
should be go up.
Fab. All right. So speaking of Joseph, which one of the three?
Yeah, so I was actually going to do almost the same thing. I grow closer to the team. I'm gonna pick Solara as well, because Solara, again, just like did two big things for me in succession there. Like, you know, gave me a little bit of encouragement that helped me to do my charge up move a little more effectively, and then also jumped in to defend me right after that. So definitely feeling closer there. And so I'm gonna give influence, and instead of I'm not gonna clear a condition because conditions power my charge up move. So I'm gonna mark potential.
All right.
So yeah, he gets to do it.
Solara gets to shift your your labels. So Solara.
I'm still not sure what is responsible for what.
So you get to shift Joseph's labels now, because
Yeah. I'm just not sure which label is for what.
okay. Do you want me to run through them? Or?
Yeah, I'm just like thinking whatever makes sense. I think I'm going to bump your superior by one, in a sense that you showed that you control out of power. And I don't know.
Do you want me to run through the labels so you can have a better idea of what each one represents? Just do it fairly quick.
Kind of, yeah.
All right. So danger kind of represents, you know, just how much of a threat you are to enemies, to the world around you. Freak is how different you are, like how weird, like where your powers are, or whatever. Savior is how good you are at helping people. It's your instinct to to save people because you are heroes. Superior is how better you are at what you do, at kind of like looking around the world, and how more intelligent you are. And mundane is how normal you are, how down to earth you are, which probably won't see a lot in this series.
Oh my god, yeah, just like let's move your mundane to down, because with this show of power, you are definitely not just like a normal guy.
Sounds good. So mundane down and superior up, you said?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Cool.
Interesting. So Paradox, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling closer to the team because of the established bond. I see Joseph as someone who needs to be on the straight and narrow, and I need to keep an eye on. And the fact that I viewed him as a bit of a threat, and that he spent his burn to save Michael from being assimilated was a poignant moment for Paradox. So that he's going to use that to clear his condition of angry and give influence to Joseph, who already has influence over him. So he gets to change my labels. Is that how that works?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I am going to, let's see. I think that Joseph saw you really trying to organize us in a way that made sense, and trying to accomplish something bigger than just assessing what's going on here. You were like really trying to strategize and figure out what's going on and everything. I think I'm going to increase your superior, and I'm torn on what to decrease. I think I'm going to decrease your shoot. I think I'm going to decrease your danger for the moment, because I think this was just a different side of you than I may have seen in other times. Maybe it was like more thoughtful and more like trying to figure stuff out than just charging in and doing, just trying to do damage kind of deal. So yeah. Is that cool?
Sounds good. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Finally, Freak. Oh, yeah.
For the first time in a long time, I feel closer to the team.
You're out of school now. You're out of the
I'm out of school.
petty
I'm back
bullshit that
hitting
you're
things.
subjected to. Yeah.
Um,
Sure, you met a bigger, spikier version of, well, kind of a bigger, spikier you. But yeah, that's actually an improvement over punching a teacher at the dance and getting your heart broken by a girl, also having her evil future self taunt you about having her heart broken a second time. You muted yourself, Alan.
Thank you.
Who made you feel
Give
welcome?
influence to that character. Who made? I think that Joseph saved me. So I'm going to give influence to Joseph, and I will clear hopeless. I'm trying to keep off the battery.
I think Joseph already had influence over you. So once again, Joseph gets to
The shifted labels left and right. Yeah. All right. Let's see. You definitely stepped in to save me as well. You did a defend mood on me. I think I see you as more of a savior than I did before this. So I'd bump your savior up one, and then maybe your freak down one, because I mean, I think that just made me think of you as more of a, I don't know. Does that seem reasonable?
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, whatever works for you. I think is great.
It just seems less freaky when your 8-foot tall spiky friend is confronted by a 10-foot tall spiky not friend.
It's all relative.
Yeah. Well, with as like much as Joseph's powers and all that stuff are just kind of part of his daily life, I don't think he sees that kind of stuff as freaky in the way that a lot of other people would. So I think it's just a different perspective.
I've never had a savior of one. I'm quite impressed by that.
Nice.
That says a lot. Okay, so that's it for end of session. Thanks very much, folks, for playing. We're still on broadcast. I'm just gonna turn the broadcast off and say goodbye to whoever might be viewing this. Whoever, but yeah, goodbye to the internet. I'll stop the broadcast. Goodbye.